Art isn't boring, obviously. When you think of stuff that are boring, art just isn't one of them. But for some reason, some of these nerd-ass artists wants to make art boring for you with their tutorials. Don't draw this, don't draw that, learn fundamentals, learn anatomy, draw this sphere, draw this box. Dog, I'm trying to learn how to draw anime girls. The fuck am I supposed to do with a box? Right? No. Listen, first of all, nobody really wants you specifically to learn or change anything about your art. Like there are these comments that I see, not really on my post, but on comment section of other tutorials maybe, that goes, just let people draw what they wanna draw. Which is like, yeah, obviously, nobody really wants you to change your art. Art is subjective, but it can be looked through widely recognized standards. This is the same for music as well, obviously. It's subjective, but there's good music and there's bad music. If you have criticisms of a tutorial, it should be about the contents of the tutorial, like what it's teaching. It shouldn't be about the fact that it is a tutorial. That's silly. Anyways, back to the video after that quick rant. I think the misconception that these things are boring or people who teach them wanna make art boring for you happens due to two reasons. First is you misunderstanding the practice of these. Learning fundamentals doesn't mean you draw 20 million boxes and then all of a sudden magically be able to draw. And if you didn't learn, it must not be a viable way to learn. The correct way is to use these simple subjects to understand the more complicated concepts. And once you understand it, it's now easier to apply them to more complicated subjects. Any decent tutorial should both teach you the concept simply and also give you examples of how you can apply it to more complicated things. The second part is kinda more important. I'll get to that. The second reason, a bit more justified one, comes from people's personal experiences. There are a lot of people who are great artists that didn't study these fundamentals. Or most of the tutorials that they've learned from didn't mention these things. The problem is the assumption that just because they're not mentioned, that they're not taught. If the tutorial you watched is worthwhile, it should have teach you these things indirectly or directly. For example, if you watched a head drawing tutorial and the artist mentions that the second eye would look smaller as the head turns to the side, that's perspective. You basically learned about one application of perspective without seeing it in a simplified way. If you're watching a shading tutorial and the artist mentions that the light will wrap around the surface of the object, that's form. You learned about how to apply the knowledge of form without learning about form specifically. Examples can go on. Now, this type of learning is fine and it may be considered more fun, but it might not be for everyone. Some people might just not get it when it's put complicated, or even if they do get it, they might not be able to apply it on different situations, other than the one that's being shown to them. Learning about the fundamentals in a more simplified version is both easier to grasp and can also be expanded on by the teacher more easily. That's why they may choose to go with that, or I may choose to go with that. So yeah, no one really wants to make art boring for you. If anything, they want to make it more fun for you by making it easier to learn. Thank you for watching till the end. Have a nice day. Bye.